Welcome to the Advent IM presentation on social engineering, insider and cyber threat. This presentation is designed to examine the broader threats that social engineering and insider threat pose to organizations and how they're sometimes linked to cyber threat. Understanding these links places us in a much better position to be able to anticipate and prevent attacks. It also informs our training and awareness needs as cyber then moves out of IT and into every part of an organisation. Coming up is Mike Gillespie, Managing Director of Advent IM.
Our use of language has led us to the place we find ourselves in, referring to hacks and cyber attacks as if all of them are isolated IT-based incursions. Some are, but some are definitely not. Add to this the increase in potential targets like smart buildings, for instance, and the possibility for attack grows. An attack on an organisation can potentially start in unexpected ways that basically have nothing to do with the cyber world. Numerous surveys, anecdotal evidence, and common sense tell us that people are the weakest link in security. This means that all people in an organisation have the potential to do damage one way or another, even if it is not intentional. Our attitudes to security and security awareness needs an overhaul then, and they need bringing up to speed. The preparation for a cyber attack can take months and could involve many aspects of an organisation outside of IT. Basically what we are saying is that the threat is holistic. The targets in the key intelligence gathering phase may never have had any security awareness training whatsoever, or perhaps they may have had some basic IT security training. What is clear though is that the dots are not being joined. If the threat is holistic, then the solution and the training has to be too. It must be acknowledged that not all hacks come from a script kiddie in a back bedroom, nor from a high-spec team of dedicated cybercriminals. Yet our terminology encourages us to view threats in this way. This means that we have skipped the whole stage of the attackers rolling up their trousers ahead of an attack and have therefore missed out on the opportunities afforded us to prevent or limit an attack. Hackers on a mission for specific information, as opposed to those just trying to cause disruption, will carry out intelligence gathering prior to a targeted attack, and this can take many forms. It may take days, weeks, or months for it to come to light that an attack has taken place. Hackers hack people as well as networks and devices. In targeted attacks, there is a lot of preparation, and when carrying out threat assessments, rolling up the trousers in the style of the social engineer before diving into cyber threat is vital. If a cybercrime gang want access to some information, say industrial secrets, they know they can't walk up and ask, and they can't really break in and take the hardware containing the information, although they do sometimes. Usually there is a preemptive strike through other means. Getting close to employees, or perhaps a target employee who has particular access, role or device, is often a starting point. Hanging around the smoking area or chatting to reception are common ploys. That employee can then be tailgated into the building. Hey presto, they are inside already and don't look suspicious as they're chatting to an employee. Social engineers will flirt and engage, sometimes over a period of weeks, perhaps posing as a delivery man or some other regular visitor. A high-vis vest will get you into many places, and this hiding in plain view is very effective. Another way to get close to employees is via social media. Many people do not give enough thought to their privacy settings or to the things they post online. Social media policies may go some way towards covering personal social media use, but in the main, it is about this use in work time and the risks about defaming an employer. A confident social engineer will bluff and bluster, for instance storming into a reception area of a busy building being Mr. Angry, demanding to know why they are not on the visitor list, pretending to be a visiting VIP, or perhaps posing as an IT engineer, or a member of audit. This is an intimidation technique designed to make people flustered and to acquiesce to what is being asked of them. Surveillance of a building or its staff could also be used to monitor comings and goings, identifying key staff members, establishing their routines, their parking spaces, etc. And this information can then be leveraged to create a bumping into them scenario, or for knowing when to attack a building, perhaps in the high-vis vest. Perhaps by posing as a contractor, or by tailgating as described earlier, a social engineer has gained access to a building or office. If poor security hygiene is observed, the engineer may be able to observe or steal login credentials. Unwise positioning of post-it notes with logins or passwords are, sad to say, very common. It might also allow the engineer to swipe a mobile device, such as an iPad or a BlackBerry, or perhaps a door entry pass for later use. Staff members may also unwittingly give away information by the topics they discuss too loudly in sight of visitors and contractors, one of whom could be our social engineer. All of these potentially move the engineer closer to his target. This might be a server room, or it could be a research and development area, for instance. There is a myriad of potential weak areas for a social engineer to capitalise on, or for the threat from insiders, however benign, to be realised. And all or any combination may be used in the intelligence gathering, trouser rolling up phase of the attack. So a combination of these elements, or even just one, can be leveraged to enable a subsequent cyber attack. If no one is looking, and no security awareness training is available, and none of these things have been scoped into security policies because IT does security. So one or any of these elements can provide vital information or access for the social engineer, and staff may not realise that they've been manipulated into giving away information, or had equipment or credentials stolen. This intelligence gathering phase enables the subsequent hack, and gives it a far greater chance of success. Yet at this point, no one has logged onto anything. So the greater the level of intelligence gathered by these means, the greater chance of success of a cyber attack. It could mean physical access to sensitive areas, or it may be information about key personnel. But pulling together all of this intelligence may mean not only that the cyber attack can progress, but that all the weakest points are known, and potentially the period of discovery time can be extended. It may mean it can be carried out more effectively, and that greater levels of information can be found, stolen, or ruined. Bottom line is, never assume the attack has merely started from the moment the system was breached. A possible breach anatomy or scenario then could look like this. Our intrepid social engineer is using surveillance to track a target or observe their movements. After a while they feel confident enough to approach the building, either tailgating in or posing as a contractor or visitor, whilst engaging the target in friendly conversation. Social media could also be used as a means to gain access to someone, joining groups they frequent, watching them on Facebook, following them on LinkedIn, etc. Once in the building, the target has their mobile device stolen, or their pass for a vital area, or possibly the login credentials stolen. When the login happens, the hack starts. But we can see there were several points at which this attack could have been thwarted by good security practice and hygiene. If your security focus is on hacking, and your security responsibility lies within IT, then valuable time and opportunity could have been squandered. So we need to rethink threat and risk assessments. We are under attack from a holistic attacker. The response has to be holistic and joined up too. It won't do to continue to isolate cyber, not making the connections that an attacker is going to, using the vulnerabilities we create by security siloing, is going to leave us very vulnerable. We have to be realistic. Rome wasn't built, or indeed burnt, in a day. Building a realistic plan that is achievable by all is more valuable than big ideas too complex to implement. Keep it simple and get outside help if necessary. Not being able to figure a way through it on first attempt does not mean you should ignore or shelve it. Getting buy-in from senior management is very important. culture comes from the top. The culture we need permeating our organisations is one of good practice, enablement, and proactive improvement. Staff need to understand that everyone is responsible for the organisation's security. Oh sure, certain people have security-centric roles, but it is folly to assume that they can handle everything and thereby absolve ourselves of any responsibility. Locking PCs away, never writing passwords down, not sharing security passes. These are basics, but they often get forgotten or not considered. So regular refresher training is a must. Security awareness needs to be an embedded part of all staff development. The threat is evolving. We need to ensure our treatment of it is evolving and fit for purpose too. So is there a framework that can help us fulfill all of the aspects of security we need to help deal with the threat from cyberspace? Well, yes, there is. The international standard, ISO 27001, can fulfill the needs presented here and offer reassurance to key stakeholders and supply chain partners that your organisation takes security seriously. Many people have a misunderstanding of security. Many are quite intimidated, and this is understandable. The fear that some ex-military type is going to turn up at your business, shout at everyone, and force them to dig latrines in the car park may well have come from a comedy sketch, but it's not far away from some people's perception. Anyone smiling at this point might want to have a look at point 5 on the slide. There are very few instances that digging latrines in a car park would be a proportionate response to threat. It is important to say now then that ISO 27001 is a business-focused management standard. It is not an IT compliance standard. It is designed to provide organisations of all sizes with a framework. This framework can be used to build an iterative and sustainable and effective information security management system. Don't believe me? Then just look at some of the areas covered by the standard. Physical security, personnel security, asset management, and business continuity are just some of the sections. Also, as we can see from the diagram here, it is very much designed to be cyclical and iterative, promoting an approach of continual improvement. So an attack on an organisation can potentially start in unexpected ways that basically has nothing to do with the cyber world. Hackers on a mission for specific information will carry out intelligence gathering prior to a targeted attack. This intelligence gathering can take many forms. And what we are saying is that the threat is holistic. The targets in the key intelligence gathering need to have appropriate security awareness training. The dots need to be joined. We need to appreciate that it may take days, weeks, or months for it to come to light that an attack has taken place. If the threat is holistic, then the solution and the training has to be too. Holistic standards, such as ISO 27001, can really help in building an effective security framework for your business.
We hope you found this presentation helpful. You can visit us at www.advent-im.co.uk and don't forget to visit our blog. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn and on Twitter.